What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Policy Genius. You know, life insurance, home insurance, car insurance, they're a big deal. And it's annoying that for something that's so important, they are so complicated. And if someone relies on you financially, whether that's a child, a parent, a business partner, life insurance gives you peace of mind that they have a financial cushion if something happens to you. And typically, life insurance gets more expensive as you age, so it's smart to get a policy sooner rather than later. If you're worried about price, Policy Genius makes it easy to compare your options from top companies. Policy Genius can make sure you're not paying a cent more than you have to for the coverage that you need. Having life insurance through your job may not even be enough. Most people need up to 10 times more coverage to properly provide for their families. Whether you're graduating from school, planning a wedding, welcoming a baby, switching jobs, now is the time to protect your family's finances. And Policy Genius is your one-stop shop to find the insurance you need at the right price. So head over to policygenius.com to get started. In minutes, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find your lowest price. You could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. The licensed agents in Policy Genius are on hand throughout the entire process to help you understand your options and make decisions with confidence. The Policy Genius team works for you, not for the insurance companies. Policy Genius doesn't add on extra fees, doesn't sell your info to third parties. They have thousands of 5-star reviews across Google and Trustpilot, and they have options that offer coverage in as little as a week and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius has helped over 30 million people shop for insurance and placed over $150 billion in coverage. So head over to policygenius.com to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. Policygenius.com. Oh, baby. How about Freedom Grooming? They have some amazing products that they sent over to us to check out. And Freedom Grooming has the Flex Series electric shaver, uniquely designed to flex and contour to the curve of your head for a smoother, faster, and safer shave without the risk of nicks, cuts, irritation, or ingrowns. I have, in case you didn't know this, a shaved head, and so this is perfect for me. It really helps mold around the curve of my head better than traditional buzzers. Also, traditional blazers. And man, they are supporting hair-free customers and their journey to baldhood. Look, I was started to lose my hair, and rather than try to really pathetically weed it out, I went full bald, and I'm never going back. What I really like about the Flex Series electric shaver is just the way that it matches the contours of my head. It really made the shaving experience faster, closer, easier, smoother. I mean, it's awesome. It's really great. You can use it on your face too if you want, and you can shave 50% more hair in a single stroke compared to traditional razors. You can expect shave times, full head shave times of just 2 to 3 minutes. The Flex Series Safeguard technology means no nicks, ingrown hairs, or problems, and it's waterproof, meaning you can shave your head in the shower with or without shaving cream. You can shave wet or dry. So head over to freedomgrooming.com/tire. That's freedomgrooming.com/tire to thank you for being a loyal listener. We're partnering with Freedom Grooming to give you an exclusive 20% off at freedomgrooming/tire. All right, 20% off. All you got to do is use our link, freedomgrooming/tire. You'll never shave your head the same way again. How about Upside? Upside is a really, really neat piece of software. From cringing at the pump to getting an eye-popping check at your favorite restaurant, inflation's hitting us all where it hurts, and it really hurts. And that's why I started using Upside. Upside's an incredible app for anyone who buys gas, groceries, or dines out. Basically, everybody. And with every purchase, I'm earning cash back thanks to using Upside. I used it at the gas pump just the other day to fill up my BMW M3. It was super, super easy. I just pulled up the app. It brought up a map of businesses near me where I could save money and get cash back. I went to that gas station, boom, and then the cash just went into my bank account, which I linked through the app. All you got to do is download the free Upside app in the App Store or at Google Play. If you use my promo code SMOKING, you get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. Next, claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside. You can check in at the business, pay as usual with a credit or debit card, and then you get paid. In comparison to credit card rewards or loyalty programs, you can earn 3 times more cash back with Upside. You can then cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or get an e-gift card for Amazon and other online shopping centers. Upside users are earning more than $1 million every week in cash back, probably why they have a 4.8 star rating on the App Store. Download the free Upside app and use promo code SMOKING to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. It's very easy. It's like 5 minutes to set it up, and then all you got to do is shop for the things you already would be shopping for and save. You get cash back right to your bank account. Upside app, code SMOKING. Last but certainly not least, we got Berryman B12 Total Engine Cleaner. It's for use in all 2-stroke and 4-stroke gasoline and diesel engines any season. I have a business, as some of you may have known, Westside Collector Car Storage, and cars, they sit for a long time, right? And so you need something to keep that fuel system from getting gunked up and clogged up, and that's why I really like this Berryman Total Engine Cleaner. In the crankcase, it dissolves and disperses gum, sludge, and other residues for better lubrication and longer shelf life. In the fuel tank, B12 disperses moisture, cleans out your injectors and carburetors, and gives smoother top engine performance, reducing repairs for lower operating costs. And the Total Engine Cleaner will stabilize gasoline and diesel fuels for more than 1 year. That's the part of this that really speaks to me, because a lot of the cars sit for months at a time, and even though at Westside we warm them up, cycle the engines once a month to make sure everything is running as good as it can be, that fuel stabilizing technology really helps make sure that the fuel doesn't break down and cause problems in the tanks. And that's why we use this Berryman B12 Total Engine Cleaner in every tank for every car we've got in long-term storage at Westside Collector Car Storage. Berryman products are all American made since 1918, and Berryman is available at your favorite automotive retailer, auto parts store, or at berrymanproducts.com. BERRYMAN products.com. All right, guys, on this episode of the show, Zach and I have traveled to Pikes Peak outside of Colorado Springs for the 100th running of the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. In this episode, we've got 3 total episodes from Pikes Peak. In this episode, Zach and I will tell you how to best experience Pikes Peak and what we're doing, and then interview a bunch of our favorite drivers on practice day at Devil's Playground. We've got our pal Jonny Lieberman, we've got David Donahue, we've got Robb Holland, we've got Jeff Zwart popping in, we've got actually the CEO of Porsche Motorsport North America, Volker. He's stopping by to say how they're supporting the race and more. Check it all out. Our coverage from Pikes Peak begins today on the Smoking Tire Podcast. Hey, folks.
Yo.
Welcome to Pikes Peak.
Yeah.
This is really exciting for Zach and I. We have a mobile studio set up in the front of the F-150 Lightning.
It's amazing.
Yeah, this is great. Here at the Glen Cove section, we've got the marshals were very kind to us. Shout out to the Pikes Peak race marshals. We're not technically supposed to park here, but we said we wanted to get a great background shot for this podcast, and then we gave them bacon, egg, and cheeses,
which we cooked using the power in the back of the bed. We got 2 plug-in electric griddles, And it worked no problem.
Yeah.
Used like 20 miles of range.
Yeah, so we've come to Pikes Peak to watch the 100th running of the race. We're going to interview some drivers, many of whom we already know. Some of our friends are here. We're going to talk about their strategies for racing. But in this show, we want to tell you some of the other stuff that we're doing on the mountain, and as well as tell you, how to do it, like what we've learned about doing it. And so this is the second practice day, although this will probably be the first part of the first show. Oh, that BMW. I hope that came through, because that is the gnarliest E30 ever.
Yeah, so it's Friday. It's an optional practice day. So there's qualifying and practice all week.
Right.
There's other practice beforehand. You can look at that schedule. But during the week, there are qualifying days leading up to this, and then Friday is this optional day if you need to tune something, refine something, if you want more time on the hill. And then tomorrow's an off day, and then Sunday they race.
So the way it works is they close the road for racing from 3 till 8:30 a.m. every morning. So for media, they open the bottom gate at the bottom of the road from 4 to 5. And what that means is you better be there at 3:30.
Yeah.
So we got there a little late yesterday, and we didn't get the spot we wanted. We ended up, instead of being here at Glen Cove, up at the top at Devil's Playground. And so for the practice days, in order to get people the most number of practice runs possible, they break Pikes Peak into 3 sections. There's lower, middle, and upper.
Right.
So right here where we are is the start line for the middle and the finish line for the lower. And the cars that's finishing are about a couple hundred yards below us. And then there's a gap where they have a parking area here. And then this start line for the session going up towards Devil's Playground. Devil's Playground is the start line of the top session.
Yeah, and then actually talking to Cam Ingram yesterday, I didn't realize they close. There's a break in between Devil's Playground and the Summit.
Right.
So if you want to practice this halfway to Summit section, you do that as well.
Right. So they're these sector times, but also the one thing they don't get to practice is the connecting bits in between the sections, which is not it's not a lot, but like, for instance, the shutdown area for the lower section is right before a hairpin, and then the start line for this section is right in front of a hairpin, and in between is about a 300-yard straightaway that's used as a parking lot. But that's race course.
Yeah, and talking to, I think, David Donahue yesterday, he said that normally you're getting to that turn, this right at the end of the straight, at 150 miles an hour, depending on your car.
As opposed to here, where you're getting there at 50 miles an hour, because the start line is right there. So those kind of sections can really trip you up. Now, they break it into categories. So today at Glen Cove, we're watching the open wheel cars and the open class cars, and so these are like really wild. Some are home built, some are loosely production based. Right. That E30 that went up, there's not a lot of E30 left in that. There's like IndyCar style things with crazy wings. There's stuff that looks like UTVs almost with crazy aero. There's a NASCAR. Open means open.
yeah. Open is like the engine was not in the car when you bought it, or in the case of the E30, they put a turbo on it, and they changed the rules. So an open class car, if you put a turbo on the car that didn't come with a turbo from the factory, now you're in the open class.
So lining up to the start is this dude Paul Dallenbach, who always has a crazy rig. This thing looks kind of like it's a Sierra cars or a cross kart, but with a monster turbo engine in it and huge wings. He famously had an insane crash here a few years ago where he was driving this home-built open-wheel thing and hit a tree at a very high rate of speed.
Yeah, it was on a long right sweeper and something broke and he went left.
Yeah.
Yes. His family.
That looks gnarly, man. Ooh.
But so loud. He's one of the seasoned veterans, though, that's been doing this for like 20, 30 years, and I think his family has as well.
Well, that's kind of one of the things we've heard over and over is it's a generational thing, and it becomes sort of a tradition in people's families to do it, and I could see why. It seems like once you start doing it, it gets like addictive.
Totally.
You know.
I mean, I had never had an interest in doing it, and then being here 2 years ago, I went, oh, I kind of get it. Like, I
Yeah.
want to do it now. I'm not ready. But it's it's exciting. And
Yeah.
so if you worked on a team with your dad, of course you'd want to do it.
Yeah. So it sort of takes over the whole town for the week.
Yeah.
All the competitors and the mechanics and the media and all that it's a whole takeover, which I'm really, that is crazy. That looks like an old like F1 car. It does not sound like it's running very good.
That one's been having
It was
engine
breaking
issues
up
all morning.
Craziness. It's not at all distracting to have race cars starting a giant hill climb section right behind
For
you
those
while
of you who are
podcasting.
only listening to the show, we are 100 feet from the start line, so
Yeah.
that's why you're going to hear that from time to time.
But let's talk about our rig for the week for a moment. I mean, we got the F-150. That thing set off car alarms. Is that the cop?
Truck.
That's the safety truck going for it. Yeah, maybe they're like, stop, you're not going to finish this one.
Maybe.
F-150 Lightning. It's really optimum for what we're doing.
Yes.
I mean, if you need a vehicle to work out of, where it's got power everywhere, there's 9 outlets. I think in this.
There's at least 2 in the cabin.
Two in the cabin.
4 here in the
4
front.
in the front plus 2 USBs, and then 4 in the back.
Including a
240, yeah. So much power for your activities, whether it's like recreational or if you're like a contractor and you want to run a drill or even something higher powered like a welder. But we set up multiple plancha griddles in the back to make bacon, egg, and cheeses, which I don't know why I've wanted to make bacon, egg, and cheeses on this mountain. That's sort of been my thing. And then we have a whole podcast studio set up in the front that we would normally not be able to do on the road. Like we have like the board. It's not like we have like a ghetto like road rig. Like this is
the iPad. Everything's plugged in. Everything's powered. This could go a very long time, and it has this flat surface. The only thing I noticed that was funny is when the mics were sitting on this plastic like front cover, and we would talk, the echo would bounce around the front and then cause a weird like feedback thing. But thankfully, like there hasn't been any interference with the battery pack. Like it's all been good.
Yeah.
So this is so convenient for what we do.
Yeah.
Which is make food and jokes.
And you know what's great about this truck is it's a regular truck. You know, it's not like it's not pretentious in terms of like it's the way that the Rivian could be kind of pretentious with all the vegan leather and all that's plastic, by the way.
Right.
Vegan leather's plastic. You know, and we like the Rivian. I love the Rivian, but like it really, to get you to spend that kind of money on it, they're really doing a we're saving the world vibe, whereas it's just an F-150 that's electric.
Right.
And being used to the Mach-E, I understood the tablet and the systems right away, and it really is, it's a lovely, smooth powertrain, very powerful, good regen programming, the on and off throttle, the response is super good.
Yeah, it is.
The ride
kind of builds, which is like as you lift it, it gets a little bit more intense as it slows down. So.
Yeah, it also has like really nice, like the headlights. Like we came up here at 3:30 in the morning, and so when you put the auto high beams on, the transition from it doesn't just go boop up, boop down, boop up, boop down. It's got a very smooth transition.
It's like the high beam has a dimmer switch that turns on lower LEDs or something first, and it rises out like upward.
Yeah, it's like
cool.
less jarring.
Yeah,
you know, it's a nice. It's like someone was like, okay, we've got new advanced headlights. How can we best take advantage of that? You know, what isn't great about traditional high and low beams?
Yeah. And to go back to the Rivian versus this thing, this just maintains all the functionality of the F-150. So like the cabin has all the cup holders and all the slots, like all the things that they have spent 50 years having customers say, hey, we need space for this.
Yeah.
Whereas the Rivian, which has a lot of really nice, cool features, I feel like their market either hasn't called for that or they don't think they'll need it. So it's a little fancier. It's more like Range Rover, where it's like, this is a nice experience, but this one is like, if you need to store a drill and a gun and a pen and a clipboard, like we have all the things for that.
Yeah, the Rivian's more of like an outdoorsy themed Range Rover, and I know Range Rovers are supposed to be outdoorsy, but like, let's be honest, you know what I mean?
Right.
The Rivian is like a Range Rover that you could camp out of.
Yeah.
You know, whereas this is like, you want a truck that just happens to be electric, and it doesn't need to have any, it's got a bunch of like gizmos, like the bed scale. It can show you how much weight is in the bed. It
actually shows you how much weight is in the truck, right?
In the whole truck.
If you sat in the cabin, it changed the weight.
Yeah. So it has that. It's got massage seats, and it's got all this power outlets, but it's also got, the flip-up seats and the desk workstation. So if you actually are using the truck as a mobile office, you can set up your laptop right in the cabin.
Yep. Which I did when we did that camping trip with the hybrid, and it was really helpful.
Yeah. It does a lot of things, like really, really well. The only things I don't like about it so far are the ride, which is no worse than a regular F-150.
True.
But it's just not luxurious. It's got secondary vibrations from the long wheelbase and from being body on frame. And when you hit potholes, it's got a lot of reverb. Let's call it.
It doesn't do well with like the small bumps, high frequency stuff. The big undulations, it damps it really well.
Yeah.
But over that little stuff, the whole thing shakes.
Yeah. That and the shifter feels cheap.
Yeah.
Now it has to fold out of the way. It's got a mechanism that folds the shifter flat so you can flip the center console over and make the desk. But considering that, considering you need that space for the desk, having this big clunky shifter that feels kind of computer sim cheap. In fact, I've used computer sims that feel nicer than that. It's just a cheap feeling thing in a $90,000 truck.
Yeah, the locking mechanism as you go through the park reverse drive, it just feels thin.
Yeah. And so those are like my only real complaints about it. The rest of it is and it's also it's huge. So parking it is kind of annoying sometimes. The turning radius sucks. Like this truck, I don't know if you can do it, but it would really benefit from rear steer.
Yeah, that's true.
Are
there any pickup trucks with rear steer that have big payload capacity and towing ability?
I don't know about that. Does the Rivian have rear steer?
I
think it does.
Yeah,
I think
the Hummer does, of course.
The Hummer does. The Hummer,
But those are designed from the ground up, whereas this is taking an existing product, so it may be harder to adapt it.
Right. The Silverado EV is actually on the Hummer platform, and so that probably will have a rear steer.
That would be a very good advantage. For maneuverability. The only thing I haven't really liked is, besides the ride, is the seats. For me, they feel like they're overstuffed, but also not shaped very well. There's not a lot of side bolster for body support. It may be one of those things where they know that the seats will pack out because people own F-150s for 10 years and they're getting in and out all the time. But right now, for me, it's just it's just too firm.
I find the seats to be okay. I don't think they're the best. I'm not necessarily complaining about them, but I understand where Zach is coming from in that regard. Cars coming back down. So the way this works in this section is, it's not like a car goes every 30 seconds, right? During practice, which is what this is, there's 2 minutes, a 2-minute timer, right? So they open the course is open, and first car goes, and then it starts a 2-minute timer. If another car shows up to go, they wave it up, and it goes, and then they wait 2 minutes again. But if 2 minutes go by and nobody goes, they then close the course, and everybody can come back down. And so and then you can get as many runs as you can get in. And because I mean in this particular section, when we were up the top yesterday, there's probably 20 cars.
Yeah, well, yesterday was a mandatory day.
Right.
So today's an optional day. So I think that's
so some people aren't here.
Right.
And also I think this is a smaller class. The Porsche class that we were looking at yesterday had more people in it and more novices and amateur drivers. So that was a bigger class. So that it took a little longer to get through everybody.
Right.
There's only about 8 cars in this group here today. And so they're getting a lot of runs in.
Yeah. Yesterday was quite a train because yesterday we were there. It was the Porsche GT4 class and also Time Attack. So Time Attack was those amateur cars. There was an STI and a Camaro and those crazy Audis. And then the Porsche class alone was 6 cars, maybe 8 cars.
Yeah.
So it was pretty big.
Well, this guy's just coasting.
Saving gas.
Gravity, yeah.
I mean, they're very efficient here at Pikes Peak, and they also know they have to keep it safe. So if someone goes out for practice, they do the 2-minute timer because they don't want someone who is running, I don't know, a 4-minute section time to be followed by someone running a 1.5 at a 2-minute interval, and they could have a problem.
Yeah.
So they keep it really tidy.
But driving up this road, you really develop a lot of respect for it. Even compared to our canyon roads, it's very tight. There's definitely sections that are bumpy if you're going fast. There's a ton of exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, there are places to have really, really, really bad crashes.
Yeah.
There's places where you can't see where the road goes, and it doesn't necessarily go where you think it's going to go. There's negative G sections where you have to go over a crest. We're gonna get blown out by this NASCAR. Watch this NASCAR while I get a glass of water.
I think that's a NASCAR that has had turbos added to it. I could hear them a little bit. I think I saw that car 2 years ago with a different livery, but yeah, they have turbos on it now. And there's a nitrous bottle in bolted to the cage.
Oh, good.
It's crazy. So
yeah,
it's
good.
twin turbo NASCAR with nitrous.
It really echoes off the canyons too, which is fun.
This open class, I mean, for how small it is very diverse. Like E30 to NASCAR, and then there's like a carbon-bodied E36 owned by Bimmer World and Optima. And then next to that was that crazy, like, Dallara-looking carbon fiber, almost a shrunken DP2 car.
It looks like it might be a Radical, one of the whatever the closed canopy Radical is, or Rebellion or whatever. It's like a track day club race car, but with a monster motor in it.
Yeah,
basically, it would probably race a track day with like a 4-cylinder engine, and they've got like a turbo V8 in it.
I'm excited for race day because we get to see all the classes, because then you'll see like the diesel class is usually really interesting because it's small, but you had, I mean, granted, it was last time I was here, you had like the Chuckles garage guy who had his crazy like 1940s diesel pickup truck. He was competing against someone who was driving a TDI Beetle. It's a French team. I mean, they couldn't have been more different, and they were running really close times. I haven't seen it yet, because you can only kind of see one section of the race at a time. But apparently there's a Bronco race car here, like Broncos here.
Yeah, that's just weird. There's a Toyota Paseo, which is weird. There's like a Nissan Leaf running in the EV class, which is weird. But that just shows you, like, you know, how important it is to not just to have something different, to bring something different. I mean, there's so many ways that people like approach this sport.
And what's funny is the EVs don't have their own class yet, so they run an exhibition class, and I think that's the same class that Rod Millen's in, and the Leaf. So it's like Leaf, and then you have Model S Plaid with Randy Popes, and you have Rod Millen in a Tacoma. Like, it's just really funny.
I'm very surprised that more EVs haven't shown up to this yet. It seems very obvious, you know, and it's like, I love gas-powered race cars. Like, I get it. And maybe the drivers are having more fun in their crazy turbo cars. That could be why. But like, it just seems like, you know, with the altitude, the thin air, the fact that you've got torque vectoring all-wheel drive systems now, that, like, you know, stripping a production EV, you know, if you could take a Taycan, take 1,000 pounds of interior out of it, you got a fucking insanely fast car. I mean,
I was expecting
fast.
more of them, because there were 5 2 years ago, and then when I asked the credentials person, like, oh, has it grown a lot? She's like, not really.
Yeah.
Which was shocking, because like you said, Model 3s are way cheaper to buy than basically any of the gas cars here that are running.
Yeah.
And so to build one, you put a cage in it and whatever else the safety systems are required, and you're immediately more competitive than a lot of the gas engine vehicles, or faster, I should say. Yeah,
like I drove an Unplugged Performance Model 3, which Randy's car is built by Unplugged Performance, his Model S, but you could strip a Model 3 and put their kit on it, their wide body kit, their ceramic brakes, and be very, very competitive for way less than it would cost you to build up a Porsche or, you know, something like that. You know?
Absolutely.
It's very, very interesting. Oh, and the sun is now out. The change in temperature at Pikes Peak is wild. I mean, yesterday I went from, like, down jacket, scarf.
All right.
I think I forgot to press a button. I think when we moved the truck, there's a setting where you basically have to. The truck says, and it's probably there for a good reason. I detect that the outlets are being used.
Right.
We can either put it on a timer, run for 30 minutes and shut off, or we can run until you turn it off, or until we reach a predetermined battery limit.
Got it.
And I think I forgot to hit the run until we get to low battery.
So in case you plug your drill in or a bunch of stuff and leave it charging in the front, and then you leave, it doesn't just drain it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so the whole truck turned off, and so we had to stop and respeed. Point being, the swing in weather here from 3 to 9 a.m., and this should not surprise anybody, is about 50 degrees.
Yeah, well, and when we left the hotel this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, it was 73.
At the bottom
was nice out there.
Yeah, at
like
the bottom of the hill,
yeah.
and then it's cold up here.
Yeah.
But then it gets hot up here to match down there.
Yeah.
And of course, I haven't been that affected by the altitude. I mean, we haven't done anything like particularly athletic up here, but they were warning us. Johnny was like, "You got to stop and get oxygen at the store." And, like, I get it. He's driving race cars, so maybe he's a little more exerted than we were by cooking bacon, egg, and cheeses.
Yeah.
But I definitely did not need oxygen.
No, but I noticed it when I started setting up quickly. Like, I get in this mode of, like, I got to set everything up now, right away. We have 4 hours up here, but I got to get everything set up in 20 minutes. I started getting tired, like, get a little lightheaded, and you just have to slow things down. Because we went from sea level on Wednesday to 13,000 feet for Devil's Playground 20 hours later.
Yeah.
So it was a little aggressive.
Yeah.
I think if we'd hiked or driven, we would have been tired.
Oh, if we hiked, it would have been,
Yeah, like hiking with camera gear. I mean, these people, I feel for them. Happy to not be doing that today.
Yeah. But it's a beautiful place to watch a race. I mean, it's unbelievably beautiful on this mountain. And it's a beautiful place to just to spend time in general, frankly.
I mean, how many other races happen in a state park? I think this is a state park or some sort of like national preserve.
Something like that, yeah.
So this is, when we went to Yosemite years ago, we commented on how good the roads were and how awesome it would be to rally there, but they'll never do it. You kind of get that
only
here.
because of the tradition.
Absolutely.
That they can do it here. And it's so America to, like, see big mountain, climb mountain, build road up mountain, race up road. That is so, like, early Americana.
Well, it was to help promote tourism, and I think the hotel, the Broadmoor, wanted tourists to come here. So they made this race, which, again, to go to your point, is very early Americana. Like, we need to build a thing to bring in the people. What are we going to do?
They did that in Santa Monica. I mean, where you live.
The Ferris wheel?
A race. The Santa Monica Grand Prix in 1906 to 1912. The proceeds from that race helped Santa Monica get its independence from the city of Los Angeles. Not get its independence, retain its independence, because all the other towns almost in that area were absorbed by Los Angeles because they weren't necessarily financially solvent on their own. But at that period of time, Santa Monica had this race, and it brought in tourist revenue, and now Santa Monica is its own city, not part of LA, and fucking rich.
Yeah. Back then they were like, nah, dude, we don't really want to join you in this.
But it's really cool to be here. I think this episode or this segment that we're recording now will probably be the beginning of our Pikes Peak coverage. We're going to talk to David Donahue. We're going to talk to Jeff Zwart and Jonny Lieberman. We're going to talk to Robb Holland. We're going to talk to Reese Millen and Joey. We're going to talk to the CEO of Porsche Motorsport North America. We're going to talk to a bunch more people at the start line of the race itself, assuming we don't get rained out.
Yeah.
If the rain is terrible, our podcasting might be limited.
Yeah. What is it like for you being here on the ground versus when you've seen videos of, like, Climb Dance or Zwart stuff or just basically anybody running? I mean,
I knew it was gnarly. I've driven up this road once before, so I knew it was gnarly. It's really cool to be here. It's readily apparent that I have no idea what's going on. I don't know. I've asked people, and you guys will see this in our interview. I've asked people some pretty dumb questions about what the logistics are of this race, because I don't study it as a scholar, but it's seeing it in person. It's one of those events that is such an important part of American motorsport culture that it's and the fact that you have to get up so early, and the fact that the elements can be so unpredictable, I mean that makes it challenging even to spectate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of races out there that ask a lot of the competitors and the mechanics and the people that are directly involved in them, but there's very few races out there that ask so much of the spectators.
It's like a rally in that way, where it's like, okay, if it's raining, they're still running it. The teams might still have to work outside on the cars,
right.
still have to fix stuff really quick, and the qualifying and the practice sessions, like you're at altitude every day, laying in the dirt sometimes, wrenching on the car, fixing stuff, and tuning things, and like everyone has to put in a lot of effort.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And it's also, I mean, the fact that they open the road so early in the morning and then close it, by 9, you're off the hill by 9, and you've got the whole rest of the day really. So we're gonna, we're podcasting and whatever, but it's really spread out. It's not like they've got one day where it's 12 hours of which is weird. I mean, you'd think that they could really condense the practices. You know what I mean?
One long day.
Yeah, like if they just closed the mountain for one day rather than but I guess the tourism revenue every single day, because this is a toll road,
Yep.
is quite important.
Yeah, and they have the new Summit House. They want people to go up there and buy
Right.
donuts and stuff.
Yeah. But it's really interesting to be here to see people's different and unique approaches to the mountain. What different folks think is an optimum way to get up the hill.
Yeah.
How the production cars and the cars that are close to production perform versus something that's completely home built. And just the fucking balls of steel on some of these guys. To be able to really, really push it. I mean, I can go quick up a canyon road, but this is a different level where you're actually pushing the limits of grip in a place where if you do fuck up, I always talk about in the canyons, like you don't push the limits of grip in the canyons because the consequences can be disastrous, and this is the one place.
Worse, yeah.
The one place in America where you're supposed to push the limits of grip in a canyon road.
Yeah, and the consequences here on some of the sections, like this mountain dwarfs the mountains, the Angeles Forest.
Yeah.
What's so impressive here is the people that, they memorize the corners. So the difference when we drive quick in the canyons, we're kind of driving by sight, a little bit's by knowledge, and you have a cushion. But here, if you're really competing with someone else for a win, like you're going full throttle around that apex, knowing that it it opens up on the other side, which is just, it's crazy. You're passing trees, the corner's blind, but you go, no, there's a straightaway, I remember, I swear.
Just as a point that we've talked to drivers and they've continued brought up, there's bumps, places that you don't really necessarily expect them, and you have to remember where they are. There's a massive bump right before the turn-in of this first corner here, which you are braking from 150 miles an hour, which is just insane.
Yeah.
And there's so many ways to upset the car.
That's a big thing here. We'll learn, and the folks, when you listen to the show with Joey Seeley, you'll learn more about suspension setup, but like there are so many different surfaces here and different qualities of road. Even though the road has like pretty good tarmac, like there's a bump there and there's a camber change, but then up above, there's 2 camber changes in a corner, and then when you go to the frost heave section, it's like there are jumps. Like the cars used to get air before they started softening them up a bit more. I mean, it's really gnarly.
That car's that thing has air shift too, which is very, very cool. You could hear them testing it earlier. So it's just a sketchy place, and when you drive up it at normal road speeds, because it's not even like our canyons, like you can go a little quicker, they're a little sweepier this is a pretty tight road with a lot of hairpins, and to drive up the from the guardhouse at the bottom, the gatehouse to the top, it's like a 40-minute drive.
Yeah.
And they're doing it in 8 to 10 minutes, 8 to 12 minutes, really. It's hugely different, and you realize when you actually physically. I think the thing that being here and physically driving it ourselves every morning at normal, pickup truck speed, you realize how long of a road it is. It's really long. It feels really long, especially because there's places where you have to slow to 20, 30 miles an hour, and they get through it so fast.
Yeah. And there's, the lowest section of the road is one of the faster ones. It's sweepy and it's got good camber. The middle is where it gets tight and weird. And then, talking to Jeff Zwart, like, he's really fast at the top, which is a much more open section, and then you're climbing less. You're only climbing like 1,500, 2,000 feet, but that's where the bumps come in.
Yeah.
So there's just like, there's really, really fast sections where they're making up that 40 minutes and shrinking it to 10. It's crazy.
It's really wild. So let's go to the drivers. Let's see what they have to say. Let's take it to yesterday. We'll go back in time to yesterday, to Devil's Playground. Speak to Robb Holland, speak to David Donahue, Jeff Zwart, Jonny Lieberman, Robb Holland.
And Volker.
And Volker, who is the CEO of Porsche North America, up at the top section at Devil's Playground. And thanks for joining us here live on location from the F-150 Lightning at Pikes Peak. Johnny the Jew.
Matt,
what's happening?
The other Jew, and Zach, the other Jew.
We're at 12,600 feet.
We're at 13,100 feet right here.
Right.
Devil's Playground.
The air is thin.
Air is thin.
Although not nearly as cold as they warned us it would be.
This morning, I saw you when you rolled in. It was cold this morning.
It was.
Yeah.
But we had 2 griddles going on the back of the Lightning. So
yeah.
So Cayman GT4 ClubSport.
Yeah, 2019.
Visit Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
Bring all your money with you. We won't tell.
That's right. There's a direct flight from Denver to the Cayman Islands, which we learned.
So you spent weeks, months preparing.
Yeah.
Here we are on the mountain.
Yeah.
How close was your sim racing to the real thing?
Sim is super helpful. The 2 things the sim cannot do is elevation.
Yeah.
And it cannot do bumps.
Yeah.
And the bumps, especially in this section, are super severe. There's the last really treacherous part of the upper section is called Cog Cut Corner. There's a cog train that runs up the mountain, and if you crash, you can see the track. If you don't crash, you see a hole. And my first last week when I was here practicing it, I'm trying to go faster, and it's so bumpy, and I was probably in the wrong spot, but you hit the brakes, but you get bounced in the air. So your front wheels are off the ground.
Yikes.
So there's no braking going on, and you're just like, I'm going off a 14,000-foot mountain right here.
Yeah.
And so the bumps are very severe, but also the elevation. So I'm finding where I'm gaining speed is I'm not over-braking. I am over-braking normally, but I'm learning to brake later because the elevation scrubs off so much speed.
It helps you out a lot, yeah.
There's these 3 corners actually. So I've been training with Jamie Morrow. It's one of the guys helping me, British race car driver. And we don't know the names of anything. So we named them Shit Left 1, Shit Left 2, and Shit Right. Yeah. Those are our 3. But they're not so bad in reality because they're so uphill that you naturally slow. It's not a big break.
Did the simulator simulate the power loss at altitude, or did the car feel faster in the sim compared to yours?
You just don't even notice that. The only time, I don't know, that's a good question. The only time I notice power loss is when you screw up a corner and
you're a gear too high.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're just done. You have 25 seconds before you have another hairpin. You get back down to first gear. First gear it pulls good. You get to second, it's good. But if you mess up, you're just like, oh, I've been telling my crew chief, I'm like, can you just throw a turbo on there tonight?
Yeah.
Do you notice a big power difference, obviously, from where you start line than training up here?
No, here's the thing. I'm the worst person to ask. Like every day, they're like, "How's the car?" I'm like, "There's a car."
Yeah. I'm still alive.
I'm just really what I'm thinking about is, okay, I did that run. I know a couple spots where I can pick up a half second. You know what I mean? So if I can knock 3 seconds off this run, that would be good. And I was really successful yesterday doing that. I was taking off big chunks of time, but it came in as a neutral car until it isn't. But so far, it's been neutral.
It's got street tires on it, right? Not slicks.
They're not slick.
Compounds or
They're
whatever?
they're the Yokohama Advan AO5 or whatever it is, and they're great.
Yeah.
And even in really cold, like this morning when we left, it was in the 30s. Grip was good.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but it was good.
Yeah.
They're great tires. The car's great. But it's funny. So you got to run with everything off. It has traction and stability, but that just slows you down. You can't do that. But so first gear where you do have a lot of power suddenly, even at elevation, your trick for traction control is as soon as the rear end starts to wiggle, you just pull second, and that bogs you down, and that's your traction control.
Coach,
and look, it's Jeff.
Hey.
Here, grab the.
Do you want to grab this mic, or do you need to go drive?
We
Jeff
got Jeff
Zwart in the
Zwart.
house.
I'm here.
Racer and coach.
Excellent coach.
Drive and Mile, your demo car up here, the Frozen Berry Metallic
I thought I'd
Taycan
get ya.
Turbo S. I saw it at the hotel last night, and at first I was like, someone has taste, and then I was like, Florida tags. Someone at Porsche has taste. How's the mountain for
I'm
you?
rolling as the Mary Kay exec.
In the right? It's my favorite color. In the 935 Porsche.
Yep.
Top of the morning to you.
Good.
How's your practice going?
Everything's good. It's one of those mornings where the road temperature is probably below freezing, and it's only just above freezing up here.
Does the cars don't ever put enough heat into the road? It's pure sunlight, right?
Yeah, it's pure sunlight,
Yeah.
and when the cold is baked in all night long, it takes a long time for it to come up to temperature. But our class allows tire warmers, so we kind of wait till the last minute to go out on them. But the big thing is both you personally are building in the day and the road builds in the day, and hopefully at the end, when the road's in the best condition, you're in the best condition and put down the best time. But you can't go in an opposite direction there of pushing hard when the road is really in bad shape.
Right.
So
What about your students?
my students, Johnny here. Johnny's doing awesome.
Because you are the Miyagi of the spec. Oh, is it Porsche trophy?
I say Obi-Wan.
What's it called? What's the class called?
Porsche.
Something trophy? Porsche trophy? What's the class called?
There's a trophy in there.
Pikes
By
Porsche
Yokohama.
Pikes Peak Trophy by Yokohama.
Rolls
We
right
had to
out.
make sure to get it right. Get all the sponsors in there.
That's for
So
sure.
how are your students looking?
No, everybody's doing really good. It's always fun for me to come in here on the first day. You kind of see the timesheet. You know who they are, what experience they have. And the gaps are pretty big on the first days. And everything keeps tightening. And usually it splits into two little horse races in there. And everything gets tight in there. And then at this point, everything is tight top to bottom. And it's funny because this mountain has three totally different characteristics. The top is fast and flowing, the middle kind of just rushing from one hairpin to the other, and then in the bottom it's kind of fast and technical. And so it's interesting because different people excel in different parts of it.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see. You understand who has no fear up here for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Johnny, how much, because as we were coming up, you can see, okay, there's the canyon driving line, and then there's the, I can cross the double yellow line, and then there's the, there's room outside the white lines line.
Robb Holland said it best because we were. I was saying yesterday at the Porsche event, my imposter syndrome is redlining. And Rob's like, no, dude, if you're doing this, you're in. It's cool. He's like, but now, whenever you meet someone and they're like, yeah, I drive my car 10 tenths in the canyons, you could really laugh at them.
Yeah.
Because they're maybe 5 tenths. And it's...
Well, you can't drive 10 tenths and stay within the double yellow and the white line. It's just not
But
possible.
even, I mean, it's yeah.
I tell everybody right away, you do not spin at Pikes Peak.
No, you go off.
Yeah, you go off.
I had a quarter spin. I had a quarter spin yesterday.
Yeah, well, but don't
Don't do
test
that.
that.
The first thing I heard in my head was his voice. No one spins at Pikes
Yeah.
Peak.
You're either off a cliff or
You
into
got
one. Those
30
are
feet to
your
make up
options.
for it, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Guys, I got to go back.
Go
So
race.
thank
Yeah, I
you.
think I
Have
do
a good
too. I
drive.
think I do too.
Okay,
So-
cool.
But
We'll
thank you.
We'll
Thanks
just
for
talk
having
to
me.
the CEO of Porsche Motorsport North America.
Yeah, he's
How
pretty
about
good.
that?
All
He's
right.
probably got something to say. Volker, come join us, sir. Grab a mic. Do we need to mute this mic?
No, here.
It's good?
Hi, good morning.
Thank you very much. Wait, Zach will... Zach will make it work. You gonna come down here?
Yeah.
Because audio is good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just don't go outside that edge of the truck. What's happening? Good morning.
Hi, cool.
How are you?
Happy to be here.
This is a very, certainly in this section, but on the whole race, Porsche is very heavily represented.
Yeah, 18 cars. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
that's pretty
That's
good.
pretty good, right?
Yeah.
What brings you here personally? Is it just the excitement of the race, or are you here on a work capacity?
No, I think it's one of my bucket lists. I think I know this race out of my childhood. Maybe did some dips and runs up the hill with on the computer, PlayStation, whatever. So
Yeah.
for sure that's on the bucket list. And I know the famous runs of Walter Earl, and that was in my head always. So happy to
first
be
time
here.
being here?
First time being here. Yeah.
What was your reaction when you started driving up to the mountain versus seeing it in video games and videos?
The elevation you can't see, even if you look at onboard cameras, it's you have to drive it. It's different.
Yeah.
So steep.
Yeah, it is really steep.
Yeah, there's no onboard that looks down off the cliff. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the
Exactly.
perspective you don't get.
Yeah.
You need to get. We need. I mean, I think now with the 360 cams, you could probably get
getting
that
better,
angle.
That'd be cool.
You could watch a whole run from the
Yeah.
perspective of.
Oh, no, yeah.
But even if you drive up slow with 20 miles an hour and you just see, okay, you don't see nothing after that cliff, but you expect, wow, that's a different perspective than seeing it on the video.
Yeah.
Because it's real.
Yeah,
Very real.
Yeah.
You I mean, I imagine the drivers have to ignore all of that and
Yeah.
just look at the tarmac and,
Yeah.
and not look up to the side of it. You know.
Just seeing the wide of the countryside here, you don't see that on the video.
And it's beautiful, isn't it?
It is really
I mean,
beautiful
it's,
here.
It's really, it's an exceptional place to drive a car.
Yeah.
It's one of those places like you can't, when you go to Monaco, have you been to Monaco for the
Yeah.
Grand Prix?
Yeah.
And then you walk around and you go, I can't believe they race here. You go, how did they actually race? They looked at this and went, you know what, let's race cars here. And this mountain is the same way. They looked at this and they goes, it's the most American thing ever to go, there's a mountain, I want to go up it, and then once you've gone up it, they go, we need to race up it now.
Well, it's a bit like when they started, it was to try to bring tourists to the mountain.
Yeah.
That's why the hotel sponsored it. But like, it evolved into one of the most dangerous, craziest races that's like on the planet, and it was all just hoping people would come up here to buy like a sandwich.
yeah.
So you're relatively new at Porsche Motorsport North America, right?
Yeah,
you're
right.
in Carson.
Yeah, I arrived last August and I took over from Daniel in December.
How are you liking that?
I love it a lot. I mean, I was looking forward to this job for a long time, so.
And the
Happy I got
PCLA is a wonderful place to work.
One is, and also to live. It's not the worst place on the planet.
we live in LA. We live in LA as well. We're right up the road
So
from
it
you
wasn't
guys.
so hard to convince my wife to move to California. Shanghai would be in a different story.
Yeah, right. So how much actual do you get to play on the track? Do you get to enjoy the trappings and the benefits of being in such a cool place, or are you stuck in an office somewhere doing paperwork?
No, for sure. I have to be out on the track, and at the end, it's customer racing. What we do, you have to get in touch with the customer and find what their needs and what should we improve, and it's all about the customer.
And how much actual customer racing is being done out of that facility? I mean, I know you've got the workshop that does restorations and servicing of 962s and 935s and stuff like that. Is that all customer car, or is there internal stuff going on more than?
No, really, it's 95% is customer racing. What we do, it's all about. It's factory racing and customer racing. Factory racing, that's all done by the factory themselves, and we are doing the customer part of it. And our biggest workload, of course, is selling cars and servicing cars, mostly gearbox and engine. That's done in our facility, but also operating our own race series like the Carrera Cup North America, Sprint Challenge North America. That's a lot of work.
Do you, back to Pikes Peak, I mean, I think it's very interesting when Jeff came on our show in studio a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about his 935 race car that he's driving here, the Road Scholars car, and versus his Taycan Turbo S training car. And he's going, I'm looking at the speeds in some of these sections, and the Taycan is really as quick as the race car in some of these sections, and Taycan Turbo S is a very, very quick car. We've got electric Cayman coming soon. It's sort of inevitable. How soon till we see an electric Porsche racing effort up here? It seems inevitable, right?
Yeah, We showed the Mission R. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're familiar with that car.
I asked Frank to drive it. He said he would. He gave me the kindest denial that there was.
This was like, so basically we thought our customers are pretty hardcore petrol heads. So we have to take them on a journey to get them into electric racing, because first impression is like, leave me alone with that shit.
Right.
So the Mission R was just a show car to showcase how an electric show car could look like and create some positive emotions. And now the second stage is now we're having 2 prototypes, which will run different races and show events in Europe this year, and they're coming to the US next year.
Well, I mean, hill climb. This is a perfect thing for it, right?
Yeah.
Short course. So you don't have to worry about will it last for an hour and a half race. Elevation, where all petrol powered engines are affected by elevation, and electric really isn't. And you can regen coming back down the hill, a little bit. And it just seems like an optimum thing for this particular task versus, I mean, certainly endurance racing or even cup racing.
Yeah.
It seems like the perfect platform. I'm surprised that we don't see a gutted Taycan with crazy aero up here, frankly. It seems like I figured somebody would have done that
It will
already.
come soon.
Yeah.
But now we do these demo laps with these show cars, and it can do up to 1,000 horsepower, depending, of course, of the range what you achieve. And this is the next step, and then the next step is if we have a production car like the Cayman, then we will work on a customer race car. But that will take 4 years.
A lot of steps to get there, right? Like the demo stuff is a lot of testing, R&D.
And to make it for customer racing, it has to be affordable. So we need a street car brother to work on with. Yeah.
You know, it's a good street car, Taycan Turbo S.
No, I mean, and I'm as much of a petrol head as exists. I have stupid old cars with gated shifters and all kinds of stuff, and I have a Boxster Spider that's coming very soon. I'm really excited about it. Frozen berry metallic. I can't tell enough people how awesome the color is. And I believe in buying those types of cars while we still can, but I also think that for this type of racing, that the obvious practicality of an electric sports car can't be understated.
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. And I'm driving a Taycan now for 3 months.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking forward for it, but now if you're used to it, you find out the special things which are really good at electric cars.
Well, in LA is the best place ever for because when you're stuck in traffic, do you find that when you drive an electric car, you're a little more relaxed when you get places?
And even on the phone, it's more silent. And when you go back to a normal car, you find out I don't need a gearbox.
Yeah.
It just makes my head shake.
Yeah, totally.
It's little stuff like that.
No, exactly. After a month or two in an electric car, you go back to even a very nice gas car. You go, oh, this is very unrefined. Look at this. I mean, I hate to be distracted, but the 5-cylinder. I mean, you have to.
The bright white Audi Quattro staging up behind us.
To see a short wheelbase Audi Sport Quattro with a 5-cylinder humming
The variety
on
up here
Pikes Peak is a good
awesome.
thing.
Yeah.
Even if you work for Porsche, still a pretty good thing.
Do you have driving racing experience in your background? I imagine you have a little bit. No,
just a little go-karting, but not at all.
Oof, that was that yellow
that's
GT2 base car, right? Is that David? Is that it?
I think that was Donahue or Donner.
No, David Donahue's driving this car, the Brumos
Oh, right.
car.
That might have been Donner then.
He's standing right there in the red jacket. We got to talk to him soon. Okay, we're going to put you on the spot and then let you go. What is your favorite non-Porsche that you've seen up here? If you had to take a car up the hill that was not a Porsche.
Here in the paddock?
Well, up on the mountain at all. Seen anything really crazy that...
I mean, all the cars are crazy. I think that I love the event because one of the last events where just engineers or teams can play around with, it's no homologation, everybody can do what he wants.
You can bring a literal home-built car.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
And that's like, on such a famous event, I think that's unique and it should stay that way. I like it.
Yeah. The
Oh,
classes are pretty broad.
There goes
Yeah,
Johnny
lots
up the hill. That Cayman you're hearing in the background is Jonny Lieberman. Send your money to the Cayman Islands, folks.
I think they have a lot of it. I think there's a lot.
Thanks
there.
very much, Volkers.
Yeah,
Pleasure
thank you.
talking to you, sir. We'll catch you on tomorrow at race day. Yeah. David Donahue in the house. Stand up tall. You good to go?
It's as tall as I get.
You're racing driver size. It's all good.
Yeah, I fit in everything.
Here we are at Devil's Playground. You're driving the Brumos. Is that a GT2 based car?
It's a GT2 RS ClubSport, much like last year. But yeah, it's nice to have the Brumos livery back out. And,
How many times have you raced this race before?
This is my 6th.
Okay.
6, 7, 17 was my first year.
Okay.
So
Lots of experience.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Well, and you have
6
racing
is a
experience
more than a
before-
rookie.
And what was your racing experience before that for the audience? Just give them a quick.
Oh, I did
overview.
20 years of sports car and robbing cars and.
We're good. That's okay.
No, sports car mostly, and I drove for Brumos for many years. From I think we won Daytona overall in 2009. I think 2011 was my last year driving with them, and the team kind of switched over. But started testing the original DPs in 2002.
And
I
the
like how
highlight of your
casually it went
career.
From, well, I've raced sports cars, and then at the end, he's like, "We won Daytona."
Well, he also PA'd for us at the Audrey Museum. The highlight of the career. Legendary racing driver carrying our fucking speakers around and shit. It was great. Well, it's a beautiful day up here. It's not too bad. Concerns about the weather were kind of unfounded. What
I
has
dressed
changed?
appropriately. So,
Yeah, no, you
I've
got a
my
great
exhibition
coat.
jacket.
In
so.
the last 6 years, does the course really change every year? Is it familiar enough that you can show up and feel confident?
It changes at the top up here where we are. From this point onward is where it changes, because it's there's a permafrost state underneath the surface. The sun hits the asphalt, and the asphalt gets warm because it's absorbing the sun, and you get these big undulations. And they try to fix it, and so you get these patchworks and so forth. So a lot of people are complaining about the bumps, like Rob here, who's walking up behind us, and. But I kind of like that the car's on the ground more.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where the car was going airborne in years past, and there's a place called Bottomless Pit, and before there's a really fast left-hander before a corner called Cod Cut, and it had a big dip in it as it kind of hooked back. So you'd hit this dip, and it would just like send you right into that little divot of a hook. So that was always really, really sketch and hairy, because you had to slow for that. So you're over slowing for the turn itself, but you're only slowing for that divot. So it's frustrating.
How many? This may be hard to answer, but like, how many turns or areas are there on this road that have weird things like that you know and learned from years of experience? Like, oh, on this turn, it looks like this radius, but you can't actually be where you should be if it was on a road course. You have to actually be over here because of a bump. Is it dozens? Is it 15 really weird spots?
I keep learning and getting more comfortable each year.
Okay.
I kept hearing that from Jeff, and I would discount it because I was really comfortable the first year I was here. I did a lot of simulator work. More than I care to admit to my wife anyway, because she thinks it's a game, and really it's a survival.
Oh, it's really homework.
Of life. It really is. If without that, there's so much effort put in by these guys. This is harder than a 24-hour race, because we're up so early, so many days in a row.
One of the other team's mechanics, it was his first year being here, and he comes from IndyCar racing. And he's like, he said, this is like doing the Indy 500 every day for a week, is what he called it, which I was like, wow, all right, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, and clearly he wasn't here for the test days. Right, so because that starts early in June. So, but yeah, so it's really challenging there. And so, yeah, I keep learning something, and it makes me more comfortable to go harder on my first run, mostly because, you never know if you're going to get a second one. Because of
the weather could change and they could cancel it immediately, or there could be a crash.
There could be a crash. Someone could dump oil. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just we said to other guests on the show, just driving up here at pedestrian speeds, the videos really don't do it justice. You can't believe they race cars on this road. It's clearly the most dangerous place they could find anywhere in the country to race a car.
Well, if you really think about this, when they built this road.
Yeah.
And how they built this road.
No kidding.
I mean, this is the 100th running, but this is more than 100 years old. So it boggles my mind that someone could even chart the road let alone go through the effort of building this thing.
Well, dynamite and human suffering will get a lot done.
As we Jews know from our extensive pyramid experience,
I think there's a lot of people that deserve some thanks for that. They probably didn't get it. But the topography here is very incredible. I mean, it feels like you're going across several bridges, and these ridges just between different
it's a moonscape. It's crazy. And I keep taking pictures, and then I look at it and I'm like, God, it doesn't.
Yeah, the
doesn't do it.
dimensionality doesn't really work.
It doesn't
in pictures.
relate. It doesn't translate.
Now you've got a really fast car, right? By all standards, it's a really fast car. It's 600 horsepower and change.
Yeah.
Lots of aero, big splitter on the front, dive planes. You've got a pass-through downforce element where a frunk would have been. Giant element, a wing in the back with a ducktail underneath that. There's a diffuser underneath. All kind of stuff going on. Do you think? I mean, like, could you personally drive this road faster if you had an even faster car, or is this car like as fast as you'd personally ever want to go up this hill? And I know you're a racing driver. I know you got a lot of experience, but
yeah, it's funny. Hurley Haywood, who was my teammate for many years, obviously iconic with Brumos, said it best. That speed is relative to the car you're driving. Mm-hmm. So you put us all on a bar stool, and you're stretching it to as fast as that bar stool can go.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with this. If you have a faster car, it's more capable. You'll go faster. I mean, you look at what Romain Dumas did in the Volkswagen IDR a couple of years ago, and it just blew everyone's mind. And he feels that a good normally aspirated, or not normally aspirated, but good petrol engine or combustion engine can still beat that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
but
surprising.
it's a multi-million-dollar effort to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a specially designed car. It's a lot of development and drivetrain, and it's a big effort.
It was.
So like Porsche 919, maybe something like that. 919 Evo, whatever.
Something
that
in that
crazy
realm. I don't
Nurburgring
think
thing.
that car can make it up the hill because it's so long.
Yeah. I would say maybe Valkyrie, but the Valkyrie might be too long actually as well. That new Aston Martin thing, I just had to go in and shat my sands.
Yeah,
it was
we're
fucking
like
crazy.
at full lock. And
Wow.
just from Glen Cove, which is the area below us, to the finish, there's, I think, 13 or 14 places where you're below 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that doesn't matter what car you're in. It could be an Indy car or a Chevron that's super light. You're still under 30 miles an hour. So
What's the highest speed that you see on this course?
I've seen just over 150.
That's
in the
pretty
past.
quick. Yeah, that's good. That's moving pretty good.
I don't know that I'm getting there right now.
Uh-huh.
But, I'm too chicken to look.
How have your speeds or times either increased or decreased over your years? Like, are the cars you're driving these days faster, more powerful, or more compliant? How do they compare to what you started
Last year
with?
we had more power, but I didn't do much running.
Okay.
And I think even the year before I probably had more power as well at the end of the game. So we had a GT2 RS ClubSport that was virtually stock the year in 2020, and that was COVID year. We were in good position to win overall, but I got over ambitious down at Glen Cove and hit a rock with a wheel, and that was it. But we were really fast. The car was just stupid fast. I can't explain it. But other than that, Porsche engineers and Weissach are smart guys. They know how to put something together.
Yeah,
they got a little experience at that.
Yeah,
so I mean, we throw all this stuff on this car, and I keep thinking it should be so much faster, but why isn't it? And but
Do you notice the reduction in power up here versus the bottom of the hill? Does it become apparent or not
it
really?
becomes apparent if you watch videos. It'll become apparent because the gears last a lot longer.
Uh-huh.
So down at the bottom, especially if you watch some of the short geared prototype cars, they're constantly shifting at the bottom. When they get to the top,
Oh, wow.
the gears really stretch out. They're just
Funny.
like
The gears get
really-
longer. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. The other thing that is kind of funny, people don't notice if they watch the videos, you always know when the driver kind of shit himself because the downshifts get really slow too.
Yeah.
Which means he's braking early. If he's down, then you know he's on the brakes really hard.
Yeah.
He's confident. He's good to go. If he's going then you know he's.
You know he just had a moment.
You know, yeah, he's taking a second evaluation at this point.
That's funny. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch some videos now and think about that.
I know that from watching myself. By the way, that's how I know.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. We'll have a good rest of your practice session. Thank you for giving us the time.
Thanks.
We'll catch up to you again on race day. We'll be at the start line, so we'll see you down there.
I'm still looking for your honey bucket selfie.
Bro,
Buddy.
I don't know about this thing. Apparently, you're supposed to sit in the shitter over there and take a selfie, and
You can
there's
win a
something-
honey bucket.
You can win. Oh, the grand prize of winning a porta potty, which
Like best photo
thank
in
God I
porta
need
potty?
one of those. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hashtag.
But
win
I'm
everything.
telling you, I think this is something that people who've been up here
I think so
do to
too.
people like us.
Yeah, they're
This
laughing.
is the fucking.
Caught Rob laughing.
This is the Happy Gilmore fucking ninth green at 9. Is
Yeah.
what this
Rob
bullshit
Holland's
is.
behind the camera.
I'm not
and
falling
he's looking
for
the
it,
other
dude.
way, which means
I'm not
he
taking no
probably
selfie
took
in
a
the
selfie.
shitter, bro.
Was that movie Nurburgring where he eats they're eating the weird food and he's like, oh, this is the pickled back something.
Yeah.
He's eating human shit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thanks.
Enjoy seeing that car up here. It's real cool.
Thank you.
Rob, you want to come chat for a minute?
Yeah.
We get Robb Holland in here. Thanks, David.
Be
See you
safe and
soon.
fast, Dave. What?
You're not. He's in that.
I'm in
frame.
this one.
Oh, you get two. You
Bro.
guys are like
Two.
pros.
It's almost like we.
Whoa, like you know what you're
It's
doing.
almost like we fucking make videos, Robb Holland. What's
I thought
happening?
you guys were amateurs.
Try
but
and keep it
clearly
on the inside of the bed rail. No, the inside of the bed rail. This way.
That way.
Yeah.
Got it. There we go.
You were about to go for a run, but I think someone may have had an off and shut that practice session down.
Yeah. Someone had an off up Cog Cut, which is towards the finish line. It's a really, really tough brake zone. And as you kind of start picking up speed, you want to push that brake zone a bit because every time you get up there, you brake and you're like, oh, I braked way early, so I'm going to brake deeper. But the problem is it's really, really bumpy, and a lot of these cars have ABS. So
yeah.
as soon as you get four wheels in the air, the ABS just basically kicks in, and you're just
You're
skating.
skidding off the road.
Yeah.
What a thing to happen and what a sentence. As soon as the four
Because
wheels
these
are around.
because these cars
It's the
have
same-
safety features,
Right,
you're
exactly.
hosed.
Yeah.
When you came to visit us over at the truck when it was still dark out, pretty much first thing, you said something like really interesting that I'm going to make you say again because now we're actually recording it, which is I said, how was your first run? And you were like, dude, the sun is I've never seen anything like it, and you're extremely experienced. How many times have you been on Pikes Peak racing?
This is 7 or 8
Okay,
times
so
now. Yeah.
even more than David Donahue there. And you said the sun was so crazy that you literally stopped on the course.
I came to a complete
stop.
I literally we came around going into the rock garden, boulder garden, and nothing. Like it was literally like someone like just turned out every single light in the room because you couldn't see anything.
That's so
And so I came to a
crazy.
stop because I was looking for the edge of the road, and all I could think of is this is going to be the dumbest YouTube video ever. Like guy drives off the side of Pikes Peak at 3 miles an hour. You just see me like just slowly roll off the edge because I literally couldn't see anything.
It's like the universe's largest police officer shining a flashlight, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, hey, sorry about that.
But
Well,
that's
the
also
thing is
that's
that-
unique to this practice session on this day at that time, right?
Actually, the middle section as well. There's a couple. If you remember the famous Ari Vatten and he's doing this, that was on the lower section. So there's 3 sections, but we don't really see that on race day because we're usually out a little bit later. There's one run during the day where you just get the sun at the right angle, and it's literally right in your eyes, and it's brutal. But it puts that in your head for the next run too, because you're coming around the bend and you can see the sunlight coming through the mountains, and you're like, okay, am I going to come through here and just be completely blinded again, or is the sun a little bit higher and it's fine? So you basically lift, because if you're actually committed to that corner and then all of a sudden you lose all of your sight, you're doing 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, and you've got no reference points.
You're saying you haven't totally memorized the course to where you could drive with your eyes closed?
I could. I think I would end up at the bottom more than I would end up at the finish line. But eventually, it's like driving by Braille. You eventually get there. But memorizing all the corners, yes. But the timing and the bumps and everything, it's new every year.
Do you have a polarized visor? Does that help, or when the sun's directly in your face? It doesn't
I
matter?
had a polarized visor on. I had my hand up. I had everything, and it didn't really make a difference. It is the brightest sun you'll ever see in your entire life. So it's just like it's literally like driving down the highway.
Thin atmosphere.
Yeah.
no clouds today.
Yeah.
It's going straight in your eyes. Yeah.
So it was
is.
brutal. It was
Yeah.
tough. But yeah, I mean, it kind of happens every year. Some years are worse than others, but you make
Can I
do.
ask, is this your first year doing rear wheel drive? Because you had front wheel drive record at some point, and when I saw you in 2020, you're driving the Audi, going for it again.
Yep. So
you
we
did a vet though, right?
I did the vet in between. So I had the salvage Corvette. We did the big thing
that's
for
right.
Jalopnik, where we took a salvage Corvette 45 days, turned it into a Pikes Peak car, which was interesting. 900 horsepower.
What happened to that car?
Sold it off actually.
Okay.
Yeah, bring a trailer and got good money for it.
You did?
And, it's honestly we really wanted to develop that car. Like we really that platform had a lot of potential here. The hardest part though is that we realized very quickly the supercharger in the Z06 and just the amount of heat.
Yeah.
All we were doing was throwing cooling at it, and we were still having a problem with it. But we had some ideas, but it's budget. You're spending a lot of money on a car that the following year is not even one of Corvette's or one of GM's current products.
Right. That Z06 had some limitations, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah, it did.
The ZR1 did solve a bunch of them with the new front air dam. And
that was one of the things
all
we're going
that
to go
stuff.
to is throw on a ZR1 front bumper
ZR1
and then go to big
ZR1
Motorsport.
hood, yeah.
But then it's like you're doing so much modification just to
Yeah.
get the car to work.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, now that it works, I want to go faster. So then you're like, okay, now that we put more power in it, we need more. And it's just, you end up in this cycle.
Never ending.
It's the one
And
thing
now
that
you're in a slow car.
The GT4 RS is anything but slow. This thing is an absolute weapon.
Yeah, all these other guys, Johnny and them are driving a GT4 Club Sport. You're driving a GT4 RS Club Sport. So you've got 85 extra horsepower. You've got 1,000 or 1,500 more revs. You've got short gears, all of which adds up to really staggering performance increases. What if you compared your sector times to like Cam Ingram, who was fastest in that class?
Actually, we're looking at the Tanner Faust because Tanner actually has the
record
in the
for that class. Yeah,
we are substantially faster than Tanner.
Yeah,
like substantially. Like the middle sector, we were 10 seconds quicker.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot
we
faster.
expect at the bottom. We didn't quite get the best runs, but we're expecting about a similar gain, maybe even a bit more on the bottom section, and probably a little bit less at the top. But the car still, I mean, this is like the first day we've had the car where it's not pulling like a freight train. Like it's like even on the middle sector, I was like, how do I have this much power? Like it's a normally aspirated car, and it's
a lot of power. It's a 500 horsepower car.
Yeah, well,
It's
but
the
up
best
here,
sounding
it's,
car
up
ever.
here, it's like an asthmatic hamster.
No,
It's
what's
just,
I should have done the math. We were here. How does the math work? Is it?
We're a little over 300 horsepower by the time we get to the top of the hill.
Yeah.
So
Roughly, they say 10% per atmosphere.
Yeah,
So it changes a lot.
roughly, but it does change. But
Direct
at the end of the day, the short gearing definitely helps.
Yeah, for sure.
The long RPMs definitely help. You can really extend the gear out. So there's a lot of benefits to running the car, and it's. I mean, you've driven the thing, down at sea
I loved
level.
it.
I
loved it.
It's really funny.
At Streets of Willow,
Yeah.
it's one of the most fun, track day cars I've ever driven. It was lovely.
It's funny because you and I did the same review. I think you were the day before I was, and I started to write this thing, and I had already gone and done the St. Pete race in my race car, and I was about to write this whole thing about how amazing the car was, and it's one of the best sports cars and track day cars, and I'm like, wow, did I just buy into the Porsche Mystique because I'm now driving their race cars, whatever, and then it's like. Everybody wrote the same thing.
No.
Everybody's like, "This is just an amazing car."
They're not paying all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
No, right. It's just some of us.
They made a lot of smart decisions. That the airbox in the cabin.
Yes.
Genius.
Absolutely.
Genius.
Absolutely.
And also that car, it's not like it came out of nowhere. People like us that have driven the regular GT4 have been asking for the exact things they did there.
Right.
The gears, the full power engine.
Yep.
We've been saying for 7 years, hey guys,
It's a great platform.
here's what you could do. And then they did it. No shit, it didn't disappoint.
The great thing, too, is that Porsche listened to a lot of their racers because they had the ClubSport out there, and they were getting a lot of the feedback, on other GT4 cars, and they saw where all of those weaknesses are, and they realized that they had to build a sports car that could compete. And they did. I mean, they absolutely nailed it out of the park. It is, and for me, it's probably the most fun I've had in a car at Pikes Peak since I've been here.
Wow.
Like I'm really enjoying it.
because it's something you don't have to think about because it feels like an extension of your
Well, it's
hands
confidence.
and feet.
It's confidence, and this is what I mean. It's no matter what, like whether you're on the street or track or whatever. it's driver confidence is what one gives you, a lot of fun, but it also equates to lap time. Like the more confident you are in the car, the faster you're going to go, the harder you're going to push it, because you're going to know, like, okay, if the car, if I get a little bit over the limit, I can bring it back. And that's what this car is. It gives you so much confidence as a driver. We figured out the one limitation is that as opposed to a true steering wheel, I've got a yoke.
Oh,
and when you go through the hairpins, you're trying to literally cross over.
They put a yoke on that fucking thing?
There's nothing to
Is the
grab.
rack not quick enough to just go, cross
It's a
your arm?
streetcar rack.
It's a straight. So
Right.
so going through the hairpins yesterday, you're more than literally.
it's
like this.
crossed up.
terrible.
So I always my standard is crossing over, and you keep one hand on the wheel and cross over with the other.
Right.
But there's nothing to grab. So
Yokes are bad.
Yeah.
You don't want fucking yokes.
They look cool. They totally look
Dude,
cool.
Randy Post is driving a Tesla Plaid.
Yeah.
It's got a round steering wheel on it.
Yep.
Even even though Ken is not going to be racing, they had an engine failure, unfortunately, and we were helping them. What's the word?
Commiserate.
We were helping them commiserate at the bar last night, alleviate
Alleviate.
that. And even, I hope this isn't saying too much, but Tim, of BBI, who built this Huna Pegasus, this bad shit,
it's awesome.
experimental vehicle, he said they put a fucking yoke in it because it has all the buttons and all this stuff.
Don't care.
And he goes, Ken came back from the first day of testing and goes, get this yoke out of here. And he goes, now I don't know what to do. And he goes, all these buttons control things.
Right. They're
and
programmed.
it's set up. He goes, I'm going to have to zip tie the yoke to the dash and put like a $500 Sparco steering wheel on the thing. And I go, yeah, you should have thought of that. This course has hand-over-hand corners, like no
a lot of
shit.
them.
Yeah.
And then when you're coming off of them, I mean, obviously Ken in his car, he's got all-wheel drive, so he'll be able to kind of get a good launch out of it. But with rear-wheel drive, I mean, you're whacking open the throttle as soon as you can start to straighten the wheel. So I'm coming off all these corners in big, huge drifts, and now I'm like just one-handed drifting on Pikes
Crossed
Peak
over.
across.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. But once again, the car gives you so much confidence. You're like, that's pretty cool.
But I
Like,
think the
that'll
last-
be a good YouTube video.
Do you really want to tell a German guy, though, that you've made the wrong decision here with this wheel?
I had a chat with Volker yesterday and said, you have made the wrong decision for Pikes Peak.
Yes,
Right.
you have
And
to
they said-
qualify.
okay, yes.
You have to qualify your
Because there's
your
no road
comment.
course that has this many turns, or any
No,
turn.
or
this
any
tight,
turns.
any
Yeah.
turn this tight.
Maybe Long Beach. That would be the only time I would ever see that you would probably be more than completely crossed over. But that's one corner on one track that 90% of people don't
here,
race.
Yeah.
here with the number of hairpins and the possibility of oversteer correction.
Yeah.
Round is king.
So here's
Round is
the
still
interesting
king.
thing, and I just was having this chat last night with one of the guys, is that this is a course. Like, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've raced for factory Dodge, factory Volvo. I've done a ton of stuff, and I come to Pikes Peak, and especially when I came here with the TTRS as a rookie, like, you go, oh, I've been doing this for a while. We've got this dialed. And you come here, and it kicks you in the ass. Like, you're just like, all of these things that you think you know from racing are completely different here. Like,
Especially for you, because you're like an expert at the Nurburgring, and this is in terms of length, in terms of number of corners,
Right.
You're
like, I got this.
On paper, it's not drastically different from a time attack lap at the Nurburgring, which you clearly have down, and so is it what is it about this that's in reality when you get here so much different from time attack at the Nurburgring?
everything. I mean, the biggest, so just as a story to kind of illustrate exactly how wrong we can get it. When we first came here in 16 with the Audi, we had tire blankets. We're like, okay, we're going to be good because we know it's cold in the morning. Got to get heat in the tires, especially on a front-wheel drive. And we had tire blankets. We bought a generator, got everything hooked up. The same generator we run all the time. Anyway, hooked everything up. And we're actually right up here. And half an hour later, we're about to go out. They pull the blankets off, and they're like, tires are
not
stone
hot.
cold. We're like, what's going on? Well, we're all idiots. Because the generator is a gas-powered motor. At sea level, it puts out so much horsepower, which generates so much watts.
Oh, wow.
When you're at 13,000 feet, guess what? You have 20 to 30% less power, less watts, less things to power your tire warmers, cold tires. Like, and it's the dumbest thing in the world because, of course, like, we all know this. We talk about it all the time.
So you need a bigger generator or a battery or
No, we got a big
Using
tire
electric?
warmer tent. We got the full endurance racing, that big black
thing.
square thing.
That box?
There's a box. There's a big kerosene heat blower.
Oh, wow.
And we've got two racks of tires in there, and we just cook them.
Are these guys using electric blankets that are just on a more powerful generator?
Yeah, and you can do that, but it's one of those things. It's the rookie mistake. It's the aha moment that you're at a place that isn't like any other place that you go to. So like going like the yoke thing. Like I'd never until I actually went through the first hairpin yesterday. I was like, yo, oh man! So you like learn things every single time you come here.
So there's
awesome.
there's prep differences, there's pit differences. I mean, this pit is not level. Everyone has to make a pit, and it's far from level.
Yeah.
The driving, I think. Let's go back to that with the Nurburgring. What are the big differences between memorizing the Nurburgring and lapping there versus running this? I mean, there's a lot of them I know, but what are the ones that really leap out?
Speeds. The Nurburgring is much higher speeds. I always call the Nurburgring like video game fast. Like you do it on PlayStation and I've played it on and you're like, yeah, it'll never be that fast in real life. And then you do it in real life and you're like, holy shit, it is actually that fast. Whereas as Pikes Peak, it's a lot of hairpins, but the commitment level is literally through the roof. The Nurburgring, you always think this is high commitment. And I made a comment a while ago that seems to have stuck. I said, the Nurburgring has a little bit of runoff. It has like 5 feet of runoff and before you hit a barrier. I said, Pikes Peak has no runoff at all. I said, well, no, that's not true. Pikes Peak has a lot of runoff. Yeah. It's just all vertical. So it is that level of commitment. And every year, and I know I pulled David back over here. We were chatting the other year and a bunch of us, and we were talking about that first run we do every single year, and you get to the finish line and it's just a practice sector and you're like, holy shit, like this is the scariest. I can't do this. Clearly, like I've lost it in the past year. Like I don't have the balls anymore. And then you do the next run and the next run and the next run. But it's that like the top drivers in the world. Sebastian Loeb made the comment. He's like, I'm not going back there. He's like, I broke the record, but that's some crazy shit, guys.
Yeah. Well, when you only get to practice a third of the mountain at a time, does that really prepare you for running the whole thing? Or are the links in between those sections where you don't get to practice actually hitting that section at speed when it comes to race day? Does that make a big difference?
It has a bigger difference in setup for the car. Basically, it's tires more than anything else. You never run tires from top to bottom, and you're running it later in the day. The sectors in between, the only one that's really, really tough is the middle sector at Glen Cove because you actually carry a huge amount of speed. Yeah. That's actually probably the second highest speed of we see in the course. And then you've got a nasty brake zone with a big bump in it. And if you get that brake zone wrong, and all of us are always trying to push our brake zones, and in the race you're just fired up and you're like, oh, I can go that little bit deeper, and then you hit the bump and the car gets light.
Yeah,
and
like
you go off.
the starting line for the practice is in the middle of a big straightaway.
Yeah,
so you don't
the end of the straightaway. So you're already at like 130 miles an hour, as opposed to 10.
And it's like a 90-degree right.
90-degree right with a big bump in the brake zone.
Yeah.
Is there a camber change on that corner? That's where David, I think,
went off.
2020 topped his
it falls off. There's a huge amount of camber here, which you also can't see in the video. So if you watch a lot of YouTube videos and you're like, why are they taking that line? Like if track day guys that know what they're doing, it's because the camber, like a lot of the road is cambered in that you just don't see at all. Yeah. So the line isn't normally like, okay, you start out and you turn in and hit your apex. It's like stay on the inside because all of your grip is there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it makes for some weird things, and it also is a bit daunting sometimes because you're carrying a narrow entry into a corner that's tight and blind, and the other side of the blindness is a cliff and sunlight, and so it's
counterintuitive to what you know from road racing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so many things to memorize.
Yeah.
I'm actually getting more nervous.
do you do simulator time in between or no?
There is no sim for this. Like I haven't found one that's worth it because I know the corners. I know where we go left and right. That's not my issue. It's all of the things that you have to be here to experience. It's the bumps. The bumps change every single year. This mountain literally, they say the mountain's alive. Like, and I kind of agree with them. Like everything changes. You get the bumps.
It was alive. We're slowly killing it.
Yeah, right. I think that's why it rains every year on race day. Like, get off of my mountain.
Yeah.
But it's there's so many things that change, and there's so many things that you just can't replicate in a sim. I think the guys like David Donahue and Donner and Zwart and all these guys. I mean, we've been here enough. We've got this place fairly well memorized. It literally is the thing that you can't recreate here is the fear factor, and it's real. Like I'd love to be the whatever. We just do this, and we're fearless. We got big balls. You know, the rest of you guys. No, we're like every time I go up here, it's like oh shit. Okay, I made that. Okay, next corner. Oh shit. Like every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Always,
You got a hot ride. I can't wait
man.
to see it go up. I guess the cars just did the return trip here, so
Yeah, hopefully-
it looks like the first cars are lining back up to go up again. So you're probably going to go race soon, and we'll have to find someone else less fun to talk to.
No, it's always, hey, I love hanging out with you guys. It's
This is
great.
great.
Thanks for breakfast earlier. That was great. Like, this Ford Lightning thing is pretty awesome. It's the
Bacon,
first
egg,
time
and
I've
cheese
seen
on the
one.
hill. Plenty of power. It took us. We made 20. 2022 bacon, egg, and cheeses.
I had
and
11.
It used about 18 miles of range.
Are you kidding? That's it?
Not very much.
That's
These
amazing.
electric planches.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
with
this is
$22 Walmart electric cooktops.
You made the comment earlier. It's just a electric Ford F-150. That's amazing. That's really
well, like
impressive.
having this much power to use when you like get somewhere
Right.
is very, very useful.
Oh, I'm
God,
100%.
Like that,
You want to
I'm
warm
really
your tires?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I mean.
I know it was really funny.
Don't think I didn't
because
have
our
that thought.
generator
I was
quit
like,
on us. I was like, go over and get
Who's
Farrah.
got
We're
power?
gonna plug in.
We'll fucking give
Either
you.
that
We'll
or a
give you some
long-ass
juice.
extension cord.
Oh no, we'll back this bitch right up. We'll give you some juice if you need it. We'll
No.
come fully charged.
These things are
tomorrow
awesome,
we should
man.
try to meet you. Are you in the optional practice tomorrow? Are you gonna do it
At bottom of the hill?
at the bottom? Maybe we
Yeah.
should try and do some tire warmers.
done.
Should we try and run a tire blanket?
That you
on
should do
these?
that, dude. That would be pretty awesome, man.
Do you have ones that'll plug in?
We
You
don't
bring-
have the Donner. Donner will plug his in for you.
Somebody
yeah.
will plug them in. We should try that
Absolutely.
tomorrow. That
Hey,
would
can
be
we
fun.
like, ask someone? Can we experiment with your tire temps on this
Right,
dangerous mountain?
exactly. No, this thing is cool, man. I'm pretty stoked to see these out in the wild and
Yeah, nice little truck.
yeah, right on.
All right, thanks for stopping by, Rob.
Anytime,
See you
guys.
soon.
Be careful. Be fast.